the tutorial is a Dresden tree. So this is one you can make in any color, any kind of style, as big as you like, as small as you like, whatever makes you happy. It doesn't really require the full length of the Dresden. I'm using a layer cake Dresden ruler. It's approximately for 10 inches. This one is done by the Missouri Star Quilt Company, but there is many out there. You can just go and Google look. So I have, sorry, the Dresdens all set out here. So I have 7, and then 6, and then 5, 4, 3, and then 1 just kind of flipping over here. And then I made like a nice little star to the top. Just the old, from school, 5-point star. If you're having trouble making a star, just take 2 triangles to draw the 2 triangles, and one going one way, one going the other, and you get yourself a beautiful little 6-point star easy, okay? So I just have a tree trunk to my tree here. This one I did Trapunto. So what I did is I put batting behind each of the Dresdens, a chunk of batting, sewed it, and then trimmed it. And then I laid it down in here. So it gives a lot of depth to the tree itself, okay? But you don't have to do that. In fact, we can show you a different way to do it, okay? The other one back here is done without any batting in between, okay? So to use your Dresden ruler is just this little wedge piece right here. There's big ones, there's small ones. In fact, I'll show you the big one I have. One moment. This is another size of Dresden ruler. Like this would make you a massive tree. Now, if you wanted to do something for your wall like that, then I would probably invest in one of these rulers or just get a template to fit what you're looking for, right? And you can just make yourself a big, huge wall hanging tree for your wall to celebrate. If you don't have the space to actually a big full tree, you can make a nice big wall tree, okay? So to use the ruler is very simple. You just place it on your fabric, make sure the fabric is wide enough, and then it doesn't necessarily have to be long enough because you're only going to be using about the top part of this template, okay? So only about this, you know, charm pack up sort of thing. So I guess it could be a charming tree too if you like. But since we have the whole thing to use, we will just kind of scoot down just a smidge and utilize what we can. Now, to cut, you could either put it on a little rotary mat or just be very careful with your cuts. Obviously, stand up and over your project for safety first. Press down on your ruler. Press with your rotary cutter. Keep your fingers in your hands away from the blades, okay? And then you can come on this side and do the same cut, okay? Now, I'm not going to need all the bottom of this, so we're just going to use the top part. Now, to make a Dresden, you can actually curve this too and do the same project. You just maybe do satin stitch or zigzag stitch around the edge of it if you want for a raw edge. We're going to try and fold in our edges. Okay, so we're just going to take one of each color, and then we're going to fold it on itself, and we're going to stitch right here at the top, okay, for each one. So we're going to fold it on itself. Okay, and then just stitch right along here. Okay, super easy. And then I'll show you where we get to from there. Hope you're having a great day so far. Hope you're all ready for the holidays. It's certainly creeping up on us. Just using white thread and a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And you can just thread them through or feed them through as fast as not fast as you like, but as many as you like to get your whole project done. Right? Count how many Dresdens you want on your tree, and go from there. Okay, so once we have those, all of them like this, it kind of looks like a bit like fish on the line. Separate them, and then what we want to do, because there is a point to the tip of the Dresden, right there, we want to make sure it is as pointy as possible, a nice point tip. So we're going to clip off a little bit of fabric in that corner, so when we go to turn it right side out, it's nice and sharp. It's like a nice sharp point, okay? And then we're going to press the Dresden so it's nice and even across the top here. I'm going to give a little press on either side, okay? So again, we're just going to take a clip out of where the fold side is, okay? Just not to the thread, but just a little bit out of the bulk of the fabric. Poke it right out, and then we have ourselves a couple of little lovely Dresdens to play with, okay? So now we're going to give those a little press, little heat. Okay. Make sure they're laying flat. And then we're going to sew them together. And this is how we sew them together. You want to go from the folded edges here where it's coming down to the bottom. If you start at the bottom down here, it might get askew as you're sewing, or because you don't need them to be the full length of the Dresden, you can just use chopped pieces, whatever scrappy bits you have to make this beautiful tree. And of course, any color goes in your Christmas world or your holiday world, right? Okay. And then we're just going to sew down here the 1/4 inch seam allowance right from the top there all the way down to the bottom. Okay. This is a great gift if maybe you have a new puppy or a kitten or something that has definitely come along that may be climbing a new tree. And then we're just going to press to the dark. Okay. Let that set there a moment. Okay. And then we have part of our tree already done here. Let me just unfold what I've got. See how much more we need to do. Okay. So here is my first row, and I've already stitched it down. You can tell it's all odd on the shape. And then I've got my 4. So this is 5, this is 4. I have folded over my edges, so my raw edges are tucked away. But if you didn't want to do that, you can totally do a zigzag stitch or a nice satin stitch. Okay, so what we want to do is I folded my fabric that I'm going to use to place my tree on in half. So I'm using that fold line as a direction of where I'm going to get my tree to go straight. If you want a wonky tree, like, hold on, bring fart in here. Anyways, if you want a wonky tree, you can make a wonky tree. You can do a little this way, a little that way, you know, whatever makes you happy. Okay. And then we're just going to place it on top, give it a little pin. Pull some of these threads first. And then this point here, which would be the middle of the 5 of the Dresdens here, I kind of tried to be in the middle of the tree as well as the middle of the fold of where I was going. Now on the 4 pack, I'm going to try and put the seam approximately in the center for the center of the tree, okay? And then same with the 3, I'll try to put the 3 with the point of the 3 down into the center. Okay, so let's give these a little pin to hold them in place while we do a little stitch around. Slide it under the machine. You can use a complementary thread or contrasting thread. Use your fancy stitches if you like to stitch them down with those. Got some pretty decorative stitches on your machine. This is a good time to try and use them in a practice form, because if you started trying to use it on to do a binding or something like that, that's a big commitment. Okay. When you get to the points in the tops of the peaks and the valleys, make sure you're stopping and lifting your foot to pivot. Either lift your button or just lift your little foot at the back. Okay, whatever is easiest for you. And then when I'm stopping, I'm trying to stop with the needle right down where those 2 seams meet, so that when I go to shift it and move it in another direction, I'm coming onto that other fabric right away. Okay. I'll go right down into the point, or the peak. Okay, and then back up. Tuck the raw edges over. I just did a little press for those raw edges. But if you were doing a satin or a zigzag stitch, you could just leave it plain. Okay. We normally have a star for a tree topper. Tree topper. It's been one of those days. What is your topper for your tree? Is it an angel? Is it a star? Is it something else completely? That's usually your tradition for your holiday tree. Okay, so now we have those 3 down. Okay, it's looking cute. Now we're going to lay out the, I'm sorry, those two. Now we're going to lay out the third row. Okay, let's add some blue. Okay, because you can see the pieces are different, so different sizes. Let's add a little blue on this side. Always sew from the top joining part where those folds are. That way you're going to get your points. All your Dresdens are going to be the same. And that's what you want. Okay. Now we'll just press that a second here. Just give a little heat, love. And it doesn't matter that the ends are not even because nobody's ever going to see it. Okay, and now here, like I was saying, with that third row with the 3 Dresdens on it, you're going to try and line it right up into the center here. Okay, so into the center line of the 4. But first we need to fold over these edges just a little bit and give a press. Those are our raw edges and we want to tuck them away. Okay. And this is a great way to bust scraps. You could be designing a Christmas tree for a youngin' and it's their tree. They can decorate any way they like. Put some little yarn or ribbon to hang ornaments on. There's also those battery operated lights that you could get hooked up. You could make a beautiful, beautiful tree and it doesn't even have to, you know, be taken out of a box or come home on the roof of your car. And you can make it to suit your environment. Okay, so now we're just going to stitch, 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 stitch all the way around. Be sure to leave a comment below about what's on your tree topper, and so you get a chance to win one of these trees that we're making on our December 23rd 6-hour live stream, Saturday, December 23rd, 2023. We will be live for 6 hours to hang out with you, celebrate the holidays, and we have a couple of giveaways. This will be one of them. We're picking a name from someone who makes a comment in the chat, okay? You can choose from the tree I'm making right now or to one of the ones that I've already made. Sew over the tip of your needles. You shouldn't sew over your needles to begin with. You throw off your tension in your sewing machine. Okay, now we got those ones done. There is our third row. Okay, our tree is really coming along. It doesn't take long to build the tree this way. Okay, now we've got the 2, so let's put these 2 together. And then you can have a 1, or you can just put a star on top. And you don't even have to have a star on your tree. Okay, I'm going to trim this extra one off because we don't need that extra bits there. So that'll just go. Give this a little press to the dark. Fold over our little edge, just on the outside edge of our Dresden, just on the 2 edges. Give that a little fold so it gets nice and neat edges all tucked in. Okay. Now this one, we're going to try and aim into the center of this one, like that seam right down into the center, so we're building out our tree right. Come up a little bit, makes it look pretty. Give some beautiful height to our tree. And this is one where, you know, like I said, with the munchkins picking up fabric and stuff like that, they can make themselves a beautiful little tree. And it's all theirs. They can decorate anything they like. If you make it out of flannel or something like that, you can actually stick the little ornaments on there just by the staticness of flannel. Been chilly here. We haven't really had a lot of snow. I mean, it's come down a little bit, but it certainly hasn't stayed. And tomorrow is supposed to be really nice. So it's one of Munchkin's last days of vacation. So I asked him for some help in the yard before it actually really does start to snow. Now you could, like I said, just put a lovely little star on top of here, or you can add another Dresden and fold it over like I did the first one. It's up to you. Okay. Oh, that's looking cute. Very cute. So like you could fold the edges in on this one, like here, and then you could tuck that back there or even trim it off, and you could put another one just like that and leave your tree. Just like, you don't even have to do much about it. This would work fantastic with ties. If you had any leftover ties, want to hit your secondhand shops or raid, you know, someone's closet or ahead of you, even Christmas themed ties would be amazing for sure. I think that would be so cute and adorable. So to make my star, I just went like the old way, like you learn in school, you go up, down, over, across, and back again. But if you wanted to use, to do, 6-point star, good today. You could just do a triangle in this direction, and then a triangle in this direction, and you have yourself a lovely 6-pointed star, and then you can trace that out onto paper or trace it around paper and then cut it out and then be able to do that. So I like my big one here, so I just kind of use the side of a straight edge, give myself a little there. Make it big, make it small, it's whatever you like, whatever makes you happy. This is the season. And then we'll go down here. Oops, move my little table out of the way. And now you could put batting in between these layers, sew and then pinking shear them like I did, or you can just sew it together like I did on the second one. Okay, oops. Then we could just make a little. There, we got ourselves a little star. Okay, easy peasy. So we can just cut that out. Want to cut this fabric. Of course, these are the right sides together. Just pop that over there. It's not an exact science. The main point is to have fun. Okay. Life is short. Now you can use pinking shears on this as well to shear it up, or you can just put the two pieces together, sew all the way around, and you got yourself a lovely little tree or little star to top your tree. Just like that. Okay. Just pin it down. Like I said, you can bobble with buttons, bric-a-brac, ribbons, sequins, embroidery floss, yarn, you name it. maybe some embroidery floss with some sequences would add like a whole little light sort of perspective to it. And then you could add little presents underneath, or critters flying up above, or moon and stars, whatever you like. Maybe even Santa going across, if you believe in that. It's all up to you. So I hope you make yourself a lovely Dresden tree, and don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification button and leave a comment. Take care, everybody. See you soon. Trapuntoing, I'm taking the batting after I finished my tree. I'm taking batting and I'm placing it behind. That's going to completely cover my tree. And then I'm going to trace around it with stitches, and then I'm going to come back in and trim it. So that way when I go to put this project on another sheet of batting and then backing, it's going to make this tree stand out so much more with that extra layer. Trapunto.